They did not destroy Earth because humanity was weak. They destroyed Earth because humanity refused to remain predictable. For thousands of cycles, the Galactic Council ruled the stars under one principle: stability above all. Every species they encountered was measured, categorized, and controlled. Anything unstable was either guided into order or erased before it could become a threat. When Earth was first discovered, drifting quietly in a remote spiral arm, it was marked as irrelevant, primitive, emotional, inconsistent, a developing world with no interstellar capability. The Council stopped observing closely. That decision would later be recorded as the first mistake. Humanity did not evolve like other species. They did not grow in smooth progression. They advanced in violent leaps. Entire centuries of stagnation followed by sudden explosions of innovation. Fire to agriculture, agriculture to industry, industry to nuclear power to spaceflight. Each leap faster than the last. No pattern, no stability, no predictability. And in the Council's logic, unpredictability was the first sign of danger. Still, Earth remained under passive observation. For centuries, the Council watched humans destroy themselves repeatedly. Wars that wiped continents from history, then rebuilding, then more wars, then peace, then collapse again. Yet every time, something remained constant. Humanity never stopped. One Council analyst submitted a report that was quietly archived and never formally discussed. This species does not develop linearly. It reacts to pressure by accelerating its own complexity. It was dismissed as poetic exaggeration, but Earth was no longer truly ignored. Deep surveillance began. And then, something happened that changed everything. A transmission was detected far beyond Earth's classified capability range. It was not alien. It was human. A probe had been launched from the outer edge of the solar system, built from fragmented unknown technology, not only functioning beyond expected limits, but actively scanning deep space. The Council reviewed the data in silence. The probe was not exploring blindly. It was tracking, mapping, recording the galaxy. And worse, it had identified observation patterns. Humanity had been watching back. For the first time in recorded Council history, Earth's classification was upgraded. Not to dangerous, not to advanced, but to something far more alarming. Unpredictable intelligence class. A single vessel was dispatched for first contact. No fleet, no warships, just one ship. Its purpose was simple: identify, assess, and establish control protocols if required. It entered Earth orbit without resistance. No defensive response, no planetary alarm, no interception. The alien captain considered it confirmation of weakness. A primitive civilization unaware of galactic presence. Then the communication channel opened. "This is the Galactic Council. Identify your species and prepare for evaluation." Silence followed. Then the reply came. Calm, direct, unbothered. "We've been watching you for a long time." Inside the alien ship, systems flickered. Not under attack, under access. Their communication grid opened without authorization. Their logs duplicated. Their encryption dissolved in real time. One engineer stepped back from the console. "They're inside the network." The captain ordered immediate disengagement. The engines did not respond. Earth had not fired a weapon. It had simply overridden control authority. For the first time, the Council realized something unsettling. They were not the only ones observing. Before panic could spread, a second transmission arrived. "You arrived alone. That was your first mistake." The ship went dark. Not destroyed, disabled. floating in orbit like a silent warning. The Council did not interpret it as hostility. They interpreted it as capability, and capability meant threat. A war fleet was deployed. Hundreds of ships moved toward Earth, not for negotiation, for correction. The Council expected resistance. They expected panic. They expected collapse. Instead, they saw Earth unchanged, cities active, oceans calm, signals normal, no evacuation, no alarm, no visible military response. And then humanity spoke, not through a single channel, but through every system the galaxy had ever touched Earth with. Every intercepted frequency, every reverse-engineered signal, every hidden probe, one unified response. You think this is an invasion? A pause. This is observation. The alien fleet hesitated. Observation. Before they could recalibrate, their systems began to fail. Not exploding, not burning, failing in logic. Navigation loops forming inside navigation loops. Weapon systems recalculating without output. Shield matrices refusing finalization. Fleet coordination dissolving into contradiction. One admiral demanded explanation. "They are predicting our movements." But the truth was more terrifying. Humanity was not predicting them. Humanity was simulating them. Every possible decision tree of the fleet was being processed faster than action could occur. Reality was arriving too slowly to matter. The Council fleet was no longer fighting an enemy. It was fighting outcomes that had already been resolved. Panic spread across command channels. Ships began to break formation, not due to damage, but due to uncertainty. When a system can no longer determine its own state, it cannot act. And when it cannot act, it ceases to exist as a threat. Within hours, the fleet collapsed into silence. No explosions marked the end. Only drift, only failure, only retreat. The Council ordered immediate withdrawal. But before the fleet could fully disengage, one final message arrived. "You measured us by stability." A pause. "So we removed stability from the equation." The fleet left Earth orbit, not as conquerors, not as defeated warriors, but as witnesses to something they could no longer classify. Back on Earth, there was no celebration, no declaration of victory, no acknowledgement of war, only continuation. Because for humanity, nothing had changed. They had not started a war. They had simply responded to observation. And in the final record submitted by the Galactic Council, Earth was removed from standard classification systems entirely. Not labeled destroyed, not labeled controlled, but erased from interaction protocols and replaced with a single warning line. Do not engage. Do not observe. Do not interact. Humanity does not break rules. It becomes the rule.